Oh yeah, you know what time it is. It's time to pour yourself a drink. I don't care if it's top shelf, bottom shelf, or you made it in the bathtub. It's time for another edition of Off the Wall. Oh yeah, baby.
What is everybody drinking?
I don't know. You made my drink, so
I did. I made you what we call special Sprite.
special.
It's very
Sprite.
Espresso.
Thank God, because Marcus had a hell of a
Oh my
time
God!
getting
Don't
I
even.
swear to God, you got to tell that story. You've
I
gotta
thought he
tell
was
that
going to commit
story.
ritual
Ritual
homicide.
suicide?
Yeah.
Ritual homicide? What's that one? He's just going to start
Ritual
slaying
suicide.
motherfuckers.
Well, that's
I was
my way.
close.
That is all my way.
But as people will get to know us, you're going to learn a lot more about
What was
producer
that?
Marcus.
Did you just hit puberty?
I know. Did you hear my voice crack right there? No. I just, ladies and gentlemen, I have addressed puberty.
All strapped. Yay.
I can't be your friends for 3 seconds, okay? But isn't it funny, like, when you're the producer and you're running the show, you have to have the worst fucking shittiest day to get
My life
there.
is always a mess, Junior. Always.
It's a hot
Like,
mess.
it's a
if
hot
I have
shit
a
show.
day that's going well, I'm usually on edge because I'm like, okay, what's
gonna
gonna
happen?
happen?
What's
like-
wrong?
No, it's okay though.
So you
It
have
keeps me
special
motivated.
Sprite. Jamie, what are you drinking? Okay, ladies and gentlemen, you can't see this, but Jamie has a recent obsession with poppy seed bread that she gets from our local coffee
Lemon-
shop.
lemon poppy
lemon pop. Oh, my bad, dog. Okay, yeah, but I mean, she goes to the coffee. Oh, I'm gonna go get us some coffee. Yeah, she comes. She doesn't even come back with like 2 pieces of the bread. She comes back with a loaf. They
It's
know her
cheaper
by
that
first
way.
name, and it's just like
it's called a bread box.
Yeah.
And instead of one piece of like lemon poppy seed bread, that's like 3 something. And I want to get more than 2.
more than 2.
I want to
Then
get
it
somewhere
costs
between
more.
like 10 to 100,
Yeah.
somewhere in there.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, she's gonna go in like Pablo Escobar and like,
Just
I
gonna
need to
walk
buy
in there with a bobcat and a bunch of pallets.
I'm buying it by the kilo.
It's cheaper that way.
Who's your distributor?
And he's like, "Oh, honey, you do nothing but save us money." And I'm like, "Fuck you."
What are you drinking? Are you drinking your Smash?
I'm drinking a Rain Inferno energy drink.
Are you pacing yourself? Or?
Thermogenic. Yeah, I'm.
Obviously, you haven't had the day that Marcus has. He needed like 4 shots when he walked in.
I need to wake up before I get hammered. Does that make sense?
Oh, that's true. Because I don't know about you guys, but we've done these shows now enough times that I'm pretty sure that everybody goes home from doing 2 shows at a shot and goes to bed. I'm pretty
I start
sure.
drinking this early. I just want to go into La La Land and go, okay, I'm good.
I have to work when we're done.
Yeah.
Ew.
Ooh, way to be a downer. I mean,
What's
gosh.
work?
I mean, at least you were expecting to have to work today.
Yeah, that's
Yeah. Unlike you, Marcus.
Just saying.
Oh my
Unlike
God.
you, that had to do your stuff.
Yeah,
Lickety
no
split.
kidding.
Yeah.
What are you drinking, Jessica?
Well, I had a mixed drink at first, but now I'm drinking an Angry Orchard hard cider.
You already went through that mixed drink?
Yeah.
With the boss.
It was like
okay,
only 1 shot in there, though.
but you need to explain. Jessica has her own drink.
Yes.
You know what it's called? The Dirty Jessica.
Okay.
So
Yes.
what is it? It's
It's ginger beer with some blood orange soda, some cranberry juice concentrate, not like just 100% cranberry juice, and some lime.
So there's no alcohol?
no. Hold on.
And vodka.
I was like, what?
It's like, I was like, wait a minute.
Vodka whiskey also goes really good in it. I prefer it with whiskey, but I brought vodka.
I want to get white chick wasted.
Yeah.
Off
We
of
don't-
a non-alcoholic beer.
Beer.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't know
Or
today.
Duels or
Like,
whatever that shit's called.
honestly, you know what?
Yeah.
I actually, until today, and talking to Jessica before the show, I didn't know that ginger beer was not alcoholic.
Oh, really?
I seriously thought that it was alcoholic, and she's like, "No, ginger
I
beer is
didn't know.
non-alcoholic." So this, okay,
But you're not a beer drinker, though.
but here's a stupid question. So then, because I had a taste of it, which was really good, and we both have stomach issues, so I'm going to be drinking a lot more. But what is the difference between ginger beer and ginger ale? Oh wow! And silence fell over the land
That is a good question.
on a show where
Yeah,
we
we
don't
will
want to have
look
dead
That's a
that
Google
space.
it moment.
Let's
That's gonna
Google.
be-
Yeah.
Because I mean,
Oh, so
you go to the
ginger ale.
liquor store, like the big thing right now is Moscow Mules, and you
I
have to
fucking
have.
love Moscow.
Do you really?
Oh my
So
god, they're
delicious.
so
Okay,
good.
so Marcus, is it different if you have it in a glass or
Yes.
a
absolutely.
copper? Like
Absolutely.
it has to be copper.
It does, and I don't know if it's like actual science or if
It
it's
is.
just like a psychological thing.
Okay, well, what I
but-
will tell you
Science.
is that Scotch. Did we talk about that on the last show's the Scotch
Okay.
tasting that I did?
Yeah, you did talk.
I
about
did
that.
Scotch out of copper, and it changed the taste of all 3 Scotches across the board. And then I tried it in glass, and it was different. Like so, there's got to be something about drinking out of
So-
copper.
Jess said there was some sort of scientific something
Yeah,
behind
there
that.
is. There is. It changes some chemical.
That's
things.
exactly what I saw.
God, I love having a studio where you have like the big
while
screen
both are
here.
non-alcoholic soft drinks, ginger beer and ginger ale are mainly different in that ginger beer is spicier with a more robust flavor than ginger ale. Every time I hear robust, sorry, side note. you
I know what you're
Robust
gonna say.
is a good word.
It is
Yeah.
a great word.
and off the wiki's like robust, like it's so finessely and sexy. Robust.
No, you're
Unless
talking
Trump
about
says it, because then you know.
the sommelier,
Yes.
the gun guy in John Wick 2,
Yes.
who's basically like going through his wine tasting spiel as he's showing him guns,
That
and he's
really-
like, I think it was for the shotgun. He's like,
It was.
I suggest the Italian Benelli 440, whatever it is. It has a much more robust ending to the evening. It's this big ass fucking shotgun, and he's just doing his whole sommelier speech. He's like, "Do enjoy your party." I'm sorry, but that is my favorite part of that John
Yes.
Wick movie. And those are entertainment. You can't watch that stuff and think that you're seeing real tact. I mean, he's a superhero if you think about it. It's
Right.
great. But that sommelier character, if they don't bring him back in John Wick 3 or 4 or whatever, I'm gonna be super freaking pissed off because he's my favorite character. He's got that.
That was a side note. I'm sorry. That's for later.
No, I mean it's just. I mean, but that's what I think about robust. So I'm gonna try ginger beer from here on out, though.
Yeah.
I've never had a
No.
Moscow Mule, and you
Oh.
say you dig it.
Oh, I love
I
them.
do.
What's in it?
It's literally just ginger beer, and then the way I make it is you put lime juice and mint leaf in the bottom of the cup, and you muddle it together, and then you do your vodka, and then your ginger beer and ice, and then you
Hardly anybody in town does the mint, but it's so good with the mint.
yeah.
See,
Believe
and all
it or
I
not,
think-
the best Moscow Mule I've ever had was from Olive Garden. I'm not even gonna lie.
You
That was
know,
legitimately
people
the
can say
best
what
one
they.
I've
You know,
ever had.
Hey.
I get that Olive Garden is the Denny's of Italian food. I get it. I totally get it.
But
cannot-
also Olive Garden.
Yeah, I mean, but it's like,
You want a carb?
they
load?
got the greatest
Yeah.
salad of all
No
time.
kidding.
So I don't understand what the big deal about the Moscow Mule thing is, though. So you're supposed to do mint with it then?
Yeah, you can. There's.
I mean, I think it's one of those ones everybody makes different, but I believe the technical way to do it is mint, lime, and ginger beer with the vodka.
And the only thing that I can ever think about with mint is
Mojito.
a mojito, exactly. And I didn't
Yeah.
believe that was a real deal. And I think I had it in Huntington Beach where the guy made it for me. And he's like crushing the lime in the bottom. I'm like, dude, I don't need any leafy greens in the bottom of my drink. You know, all I can think of is maybe get some floaties in my teeth or something. And he was like a Hawaiian. He's like, bruh, no.
On a date.
Okay. You know? Yeah, I just have some leafy greens on there. So there is a difference with that real mint. I mean, I got it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
okay, so my goal between now and the next time we get together to do a show is I'll actually try a Moscow Mule and try to have it.
Well, what are you drinking then?
Oh, God, I am such a white girl. I might as well be drinking
It
White
looks
Claw
like an
right now.
adios motherfucker, but what do you add in there?
You are so obsessed with that drink.
I think it tastes tasty. but
Have
I
you ever
think
heard of
it's
that drink?
What drink?
Adios,
Adios,
motherfucker.
motherfucker.
Oh, by the way,
I've heard of it, but I've never had it.
Okay, so I'm drinking this.
I challenge that drink because I have a feeling it wouldn't get me as drunk as everybody says it would.
I've had it with her, and I was not impressed.
But we had this much. If you have whole glasses full
Fair
of
enough.
alcohol, I mean, it's
And it
pure-
depends on how quickly you drink it too.
Yes.
Right.
But it's supposed to be really sweet and fruity,
No, this
right?
is,
so you
um,
drink it really quick.
Yes.
This is like some tropical berry light blue thing just with vodka in it.
Oh, do you put you put water?
Water? What the fuck? What the fuck was that? It's like you're making fun of me for drinking water.
I
This is
I'm
off the wall,
not,
Junior.
but-
We don't drink water here.
No, we do that the rest of the week, you know.
I'm just flipping you shit about.
No, but I you know what I do drink during the week?
It actually tastes a lot better.
I drink seltzer water and wine.
Like together, or
Yep, together.
I guess yeah.
I get like a
It's
Chardonnay
like a
or
less
something like
sugary
that.
wine spritzer. Cause you're
That's
just doing it
basically
with
what I'm
seltzer
doing. Well,
water.
and the thing of it is I've been working so hard on my water intake to train because we have
I'm so bad about water.
we have other roles coming up, and I'm trying to. I got for the show that Jamie, and Jessica did, Loco. I put on weight. I don't want to have the weight for the projects that we're doing now.
Right.
So I'm training a lot, which we'll have to tell the story. We tried Pilates yesterday.
Oh,
Call
I've
Dick
never
me-
done Pilates,
ready for this?
so I don't know what to
Dick
expect.
me down, and bury me pregnant.
Oh.
Because yes, and there it is again. You've
Still
got
hard.
to see the movie Fighting with My Family. It is one of the funniest. Like I've never seen American comedy or English comedy put into an American thing. Dwayne Johnson produced it, and it's about the WWE wrestler Paige, but it's about her family. And whenever they get excited, like Dwayne Johnson comes out, and she looks up at him and goes, "Well, dick me down and bury me pregnant." And he goes,
You gotta
"Excuse
say
me?"
it in a British accent.
Yeah, I can't. I'm not going to do the British accent on.
Okay, so that's going to be a segment on the show. No, so I have a friend that has a game that's like Cards Against Humanity.
Oh,
Okay.
But
that's so much fun.
white in Cards Against Humanity, you've got your white cards and your black cards, right?
Right.
How you hold
Why you
your
got to
white
make?
cards?
Why you got to make it a color thing, man?
Oh my god.
Yeah. Okay.
White cards matter. Anyway,
Oh,
sorry.
God.
Get in the
Okay.
fucking kennel. Get in the kennel with the dog. I'd rather sit with the dog right now.
Yeah.
Wow, that's that you guys are just being gender biased.
He's still a male dog.
Yeah, that
But no,
fucking
so-
argument straight to shit. Anyway,
So it's like Cards Against Humanity, but you have your black cards, and you pull one of the black cards,
Okay.
and then you have to pull. I can't remember what the other color was, but you pull it, and it's an accent. So you have to say the one card in the accent of
my
the other
God.
one. It is. So I played it on my last birthday. Oh my god, it was so horrible. I'm normally really good at accents, but I was probably like 25 Jello shots in. I was hammered.
Shots.
23rd birthday was an interesting experience.
there is a place in town. Speaking of Jello shots, there's a place in town. She
Chris
turned me
can't
on
have
to
them.
What's that?
Chris can't have them because they're not vegan. Gelatin's not vegan.
No, it's not.
It's made from
It's
crushed
not.
up animal bone.
Sucks.
I never knew that until I met Chris.
It's not crust.
Well, it's like hooves.
Well,
It's,
yeah.
it's like hooves and stuff like.
Regardless,
What
that's
about
gross.
pudding? Pudding
Pudding's
shots.
fine.
I probably depends on the pudding because some pudding, like
Yeah,
I think
no.
true pudding isn't made with gelatin, but I'm sure a lot of people
Milk and eggs.
do. Is it milk and eggs?
Because that's what she turned me on to was pudding shots.
Pudding shots.
And they have like this
I've done
one where
those
they
too. Those
make
are
like this Oreo. There's a woman who's like turned this into a science, and I don't know. Can we talk about the liquor stores we use in town? We don't have any sponsors, so we're doing it. You know, okay. It's bottles and shots.
Yeah,
Bottles
you're-
and shots is like the place to go in Billings.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I mean, but
Not
they-
only because they're the only liquor store I've ever been to where the cashier wasn't an asshole the entire time because
Yeah.
they'd rather be drinking than working.
yeah, literally.
Yeah.
But they have this woman that has, I don't know, she is the Picasso of Jello and pudding shots.
Mm-hmm.
She makes this one that tastes like mint chocolate chip ice cream. And I'm like,
Ooh.
yeah. And then like
Okay, that
Oreo
sounds
ice
orgasmic.
cream and stuff
I
like
use
that.
it as like a little dessert at the
And
end of the night.
I'm sitting here having the little shot of this shit. I'm like, bitch, I want this by the pint.
I was gonna say, yeah.
I don't want,
That
I,
sounds
you know,
dangerous.
like,
Yes,
no.
it is.
I mean, and it is, the woman's phenomenal. Like, I swear to God, if I ever had fuck you money and did like a Hugh Hefner party, I would literally pay this woman to make these things because even her like she would prefer to do presentation. She loved to do them in wine glasses.
You know how
She
I
loves what she does, but that's her art is freaking pudding
You know what you
shots.
could do? This would be horrible. We'd probably kill somebody. But make them actual like pudding bowls
Yeah,
and just
lather that stuff up, dude.
yes.
Yeah.
Could you imagine having a party and just watching people?
Well, and the best part would be to not tell anybody.
No,
And
you
to see
couldn't
how
do
people
it.
truly are when they don't even realize
I mean, we
they're
would
being
all
drunk.
probably do like 3 to 4, you know, in the state penitentiary, but it would really be worth it to
oh
watch.
my god.
Because I mean,
Oh, yeah.
it'd be like having like your parents over.
It honestly would be an interesting social experiment. Like if
It
you
would
set
be.
it up right and like it did like the proper like diverse group of individuals and like to see how they interact with each other when they're in that situation.
I don't know. like, what if you get like one of those really mean drunks and you don't know they're a mean drunk?
That's true.
So-
That
and
is
then
true.
all of a sudden you're dealing with the Hulk
Yeah.
on steroids.
So-
I could be a bully when I need
So
to be.
speaking of fucked up drunks,
So if we want to do that, we'll make sure we bring you so you can.
you can. So speaking of fucked up drunks, people who hear this around the country will not get this, but we have a thing in Montana here called the boat float.
Oh, the boat float.
Okay, I've never
Hey,
done the boat
I've
float.
always wanted to do it.
You guys, okay,
So
we need to make that a thing.
I've heard that like
I heard it's
I've just heard
fantastic.
stories. Now the only story I've heard
I
of,
got stories. How many people can say they sat next to their mom at the age of 18 years old and watched a wet t-shirt contest? while
okay,
taking
so
shots
that's
from
what
an
I'm starting
outdoor
to see.
bar?
God.
So the first time I heard about this boat float, this guy's telling me he'd gone for the first time, and as this other boat goes by, there is a man and woman on the front of this boat, and she's on all fours, and they are both waving as they go by, butt naked, just going to town.
Oh, yeah.
right there.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
like it is so.
That's like normal behavior for the boat float, though, Junior. You have to understand.
Yeah. That's
Is
You
that
know,
really
you know how
That's
people like?
normal.
There's that phrase of like, what happens in Vegas
People-
stays in Vegas.
People think that Montana is just so nothing ever happens here. It's this
No, both-
quiet
There's
state.
Montana's some of the most closeted, disgusting, fucking alcoholic, crazy redneck partiers that you've ever met in your
Yeah,
life. They
yeah.
just don't like to tell people about it.
Yeah.
Because I mean that's the kind of stuff that because like we all
It's
know that
so
I lived
fun.
in Hollywood, so I've partied at Lake Havasu, and
Mm-hmm.
that was like But I've
See-
I've partied at the Hefner Mansion. It's like, oh great,
Yeah.
cool, I went once,
Right.
but
But those kinds of parties are about status. I
Yeah.
feel
it really
like.
is. It's so
Something
it's
like the boat
so
float,
dumb.
like yes, everybody there is super redneck and super crazy, and
Yeah.
Sounds
you
like my
see a
party.
lot of crazy shit. They're some of the most accepting, down to earth people
Yeah.
you'll ever meet.
I
I have
just
so many
went.
friends.
I just went
Yeah.
last weekend.
Was it your first time going?
No.
No. Okay.
No.
See, how did that go? Just with that, like the whole COVID thing. I mean, I know we're not going to
Yeah.
get into
did
that, but
they,
like,
did
how
they
does
just
it
not give a
change?
shit about the COVID out there? or-
Probably not. They were like, everybody's got the Rona. Just continue with your
Yeah,
business.
yeah. Have a shot, get naked, have the Rona, peace be with you, whatever.
If you love to go in the river and the lakes,
Yeah.
you
Well,
are
vitamin-
not for the Corona thing.
Well, vitamin D is supposedly really good for the corona.
That's true.
So before
Well, and let's be honest. I mean, like in reality, with the way that the boat float works, I mean, you can still social distance from the
I did
people
kind of
that
social
you're
distance.
not.
yeah, but you social. Oh, wait
With-
you ready for this? She social distance because they had a stripper on their boat that just walked around naked the whole time and was
Again,
a super
you say that like
bitch.
you're surprised.
Yeah.
I mean, you've never been, so you don't understand. Once you go,
okay,
your whole world
I
is
want to
gonna
paint this
change.
picture for whoever's listening to this show. I'm sitting here in this state of shock, and all three people are looking at me going, "Motherfucker, you are late to the party. We don't know what you're talking." Because I'm sitting here going, "Oh, really? This was going on? Like,
I've
what
heard
are
of
you
the boat
talking
float,
about?"
But I just have never gone because I
Oh,
never knew
we-
anybody.
No, this is what
Whether or
happened.
not this
Like,
goes in the show, we're gonna plan a trip. They always do it the weekend after the 4th of July.
Okay.
Is always when they do it. So I was gonna go this year.
Where do they
but-
do it at?
So it's 3 days
Otter-
long.
Mm-hmm.
The Otter
They-
Creek to Reed Point's the best one.
Yes, I agree. Because
Also, it's all over the place. Like you
Well,
can just go
so
anywhere.
it starts. It's 3 days long. Some people join on the second, third day, however they please. 3 days long. The first day, everybody sets up camp. At least this is the way it went when last time I went. It's been a few years since I've gone. Everybody sets up camp in Big Timber, Montana. Livingston.
Livingston the first day. They set up camp the first night in Livingston. And
then float from Livingston to Big Timber.
And then from Big Timber to
To-
Reed Point.
right.
And then from Reed Point to Columbus.
Right. See, I never have done the Reed Point to Columbus part, but I was
Not many people make that.
I was
journey.
too schnockered by
Well,
at the end of the first 2
because-
days.
The first 2 days are fucking like
They're
you get fucked up.
Oh.
And you're in the
like
sun.
we're talking like you wake up and you shotgun a beer, get in your boat, you're on the river. Next thing you know, you're taking 10 Jello shots at 10 a.m.
Yeah, and then you're
Like,
sitting in the sun at 100
all
degrees
day.
all day, and then you go do it again. Then you get wasted. I
It's-
didn't do it this year. I didn't get completely wasted. But then you go and drink and do other things and get completely schnockered off your rocker, and you don't even know what happened. And you wake up the next morning, and then you do it again.
Okay, last time I went to the boat float, I woke up in a tent with 3 people I didn't know,
Oh Jesus.
both genders. So yeah,
So do you? So I hear people can take like their own boats.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
It is a river.
People
so
build
you,
their own rafts sometimes
Yeah.
too. Some people that do it like traditionally every single year, they like make their own boats. First time I went, there was this guy that had he took a lawnmower and converted a lawnmower, took the handles and everything off of it, and converted it into a blender that fit into a custom metal frame that he built into his raft, so that on his raft, as he's floating down the Yellowstone River at the boat float, he's grinding fresh margaritas and making fucking pina coladas and stuff.
Okay, I don't care
That
who
There
you
was a
are.
guy
I
that
want-
built a
I-
hut,
I wanna
and then
hang
he
out
had
at
a
that
fucking
boat.
That's
water balloon
brilliant.
launcher built into his boat. So he was shooting high-powered water balloons at people from a distance.
So awesome.
And
That's
it's
epic.
so fun. It really is.
I've heard there's people that will take like baby inner tubes or like
Some people do, yeah.
or they'll do the little baby floatable boats like with one or two people in it.
Yeah.
And then they'll have another one hooked to where that's their alcohol and they'll have like a little dinghy hanging with
Yeah.
them.
You see all sorts of cool
Yeah.
shit. People are very innovative with that kind of
There's
stuff.
cake.
I guess
Shakes in.
safety is just not even a.
You were on the
Thought.
river
Actually,
in a floaty,
to an
really?
extent, it's not,
Wow.
but it's such a big event that's very well known that there are, like Montana State Wildlife, Fish and Parks sheriffs and things in
Oh, they
boats
would
on
have
the
to.
river
There
monitoring.
was a fairly, like, there wasn't that many people. I mean, like, there was tons of people, don't get me wrong.
Right.
But, like, for, like, the last time I went, it was, like, half.
See, the last time I went, there was like 12,000 people in total
Yeah.
that participated.
Yeah.
Really?
So do you just bring like your own like baby
Anything.
Your own
tent
camping gear,
or-
your own food. Everybody like does
Anything
their own
that
thing, but it's just like they do it all together at the same time, if that makes sense.
Yeah, there's different.
So there's like these specific places that people know to go, and that's where they camp, and they set up their camps, and you pretty much just find a free spot. And yeah.
Camp.
And like last time I went, they had like this really awesome like independent band that was doing covers of songs at
That's
request,
cool.
and like in the middle of this field, out in the middle of bumfuck nowhere in Montana, outside Big Timber, like live bit music. There was lights. There were people that had leftover fireworks from the 4th that they were lighting off. Don't think
Wow.
they were supposed to be doing that,
Oh,
but
for
it was still
sure.
fun. And you make a lot of friends. Like you just kind of walk around camp and you start just meeting people. Sometimes you end up in other people's tents. I mean, like,
Yeah.
There's a story there. Oh,
well,
did you
there's-
hear
there
that
is
one?
a story. I just don't remember it. Is the
Oh,
problem.
damn! I hate those.
I remember mine.
Was he or she hot?
Yes, but it was awful.
Oh,
Lesson of the day:
oh,
just because they're hot doesn't mean they're good in bed.
ah. Oh, wow. That's a whole nother.
No, I
Oprah.
said this has to stop because it's so awful.
Holy shit!
Okay,
You're
I think
ballsy.
this is her flavor of the day story.
This
I
is
need
flavor
to
of
hear
the
more
day.
about this.
Before we get into Jessica's story, you got to talk about the stripper on this last trip.
Okay.
So, ladies and gentlemen, once again, we have the wonderful and amazing, gorgeous producer Marcus.
Hola.
We have your Highness, the Queen herself.
Don't
Yeah.
disrespect her.
Jim
She
Lee.
will rip your head off.
Yeah, she or make you sleep in a dog kennel.
But she's gonna look damn good doing it.
Yes.
And we have our favorite, who is just going to be a guest on the show, who's now permanently part of the show, comedian, stand-up extraordinaire, crazy actress. We live vicariously through her because she's the only one that's single in the group, Jessica motherfucking May.
Hi.
And we have myself, I am JMR, and we are going to get back to the story of the stripper on the boat.
I don't really know if she was that interesting.
Well, the way you were talking about it was hysterical.
Okay, so I show up.
How do you fight naked? Okay, I'm going to preface it. How do you fight naked? Because evidently this stripper is walking around the boat that she's on naked the whole time.
Oh, she wasn't walking.
Or,
I mean, you don't walk around.
well, okay, moving around the boat,
You don't
Just-
walk around.
You
hanging
don't
out.
Walk around a boat. I mean, a raft. You don't do that. No. Okay. So when I first showed
Well, I
up,
guess
she
I
was
don't
really
do that.
sunburnt from the day before, and she was really quiet. And I'm like, oh, she seems kind of standoffish. I get it. I do that. So then she took some hydrocodone and
oh, wow.
started drinking, and then she then she got out of all of her clothes except for bikini bottoms. She kept those on, And I was like, okay, so she's naked. It's boat float. Whatever.
Whatever.
It's another source of like maybe Sturgis.
Yeah, I mean, like, I personally think I like my boobs better when they're naked than hers. So, that's just my preference.
Okay, and just so that you know how I heard about this boat float today,
You're hot.
Jessica
Put it back
showed.
on.
Hold on. Jessica showed her boobs like 10 years ago.
Uh-huh. Oh, yeah.
And there's a guy in town that still, when he sees her,
Says
comes
thank
up to
you.
her and says, "Thank you."
Ew.
Yeah.
Whoa,
Gross.
that's gross.
I know. It's got a little bit
That's
creepy.
that's on the creeper
That's
scale.
not even a little. That's like very creepy.
Yeah.
Apparently.
Robust.
Apparently,
Creepy.
Jessica's got
Yeah,
great
shit.
boobs. I guess. I
Yeah.
mean,
I don't. They're not that great. If you remember 10 years ago, but I mean, they're not that bad.
She's like, well, I think they're really good.
No. I mean, like, I don't like whatever, Jude. So she starts feeling better, and I don't even remember what she was doing, but she was just getting into a fight with this other girl that was on the boat, and I'm kind of a really peaceful person, and I just had like a really big urge to like go knock the fucking lights out of her so many times. So
Just to shut her up.
just to shut her up. But luckily, some other boat had some things that she wanted, so she left.
she wanted. Oh, she was into habits.
Yeah. She's into habits. So she left our boat to go find her fix, and then we ran into her several other times throughout the day and night and whatever. She's like, I saw her the next morning upon leaving, and she's like, she's cool when she's not fucked up. She
There's
was
a lot
still
of those
naked,
kinds of
though.
people. Yeah, some people do refuse to wear clothes at those events.
Yeah. I mean, like,
So I'm looking at pictures online right now. Like when I was thinking boat, like my parents and I had one too. I had one of them cool ass. I made fun of them when I was young, but we had the pontoon party barge.
mm-hmm.
That's the coolest boat to party on a lake. Period. You walk. That's what I'm saying. Walk around.
Right.
You got a
Yeah,
bar.
yeah,
you
no,
got a
no, you don't
grill.
walk around
But that's
these
not. I'm
boats.
seeing like this looks like
Rafts.
Honestly,
River
if
rafting.
you showed up to
Yeah.
the boat float with a fancy ass pontoon boat like that, you'd probably get shot.
Yeah,
I
dude.
No
mean, like they would
shit.
probably shoot you.
no shit.
Your
I
boat
mean,
is
it's
going
just.
to be ruined.
I
It
mean,
still is a river.
Yeah.
oh yeah. I mean, I'm
I
looking
mean,
at this stuff right
you
now. I
need to find
mean,
something that
well,
can handle a river.
Four banger alone. Four banger.
Yeah,
is,
four banger is so fun.
Yeah, it is. It's the best part. I've never fallen out in four banger.
I haven't
Honestly,
either.
I've seen so many people almost die in that section, and that's not
do you know
funny.
what
But
four-banger is? Four-banger to me is a
four banger
four-cylinder
is a
car.
specific location in
That's
the
what I thought,
Yellowstone
too.
River where there is this particular formation of rocks that have been eroded over the years because science, and it's basically it causes like this really big. There's like this huge undercurrent, and then these rocks kind of stick out of the water. So
Insane.
if you hit it, it fucking launches you off.
He
That's
hit it
cool.
perfect.
Exactly.
Oh, no shit.
And like it's one of those things where like because of that on the day that everybody's floating, but from Big Timber to Reed Point because that's
Yeah.
the part of the
Right.
float that it's on. There are usually like 3 or 4 sheriffs in boats on the other side of Four Banger, just going back and forth, watching, waiting for people to help people recover their coolers and their children, whatever.
Their children.
Seriously,
Well, there are
and there's an
people who have
island,
kids.
And
in the
usually,
river.
and probably not
Right.
necessarily in that order.
Why
you
would
know?
Right, right. And there's an island right
Is
after.
that the way of, hey, you know, I don't want to be a parent anymore. Let's pray.
Okay, I am looking at the shit that people make.
Yeah, it's
Isn't that
This
awesome?
is I mean, you know what it reminds me of? I don't know if you guys have seen it. Like, there's 2 of them. There's one that I used to watch, and there's this. You have a boat that you launch out off this big ramp, and they have these big, huge homemade things. And it's a boat, and people will make like these Viking ships, but basically you launch out off like this 2-story thing into the water,
Oh, God.
and the majority of shit crashes and burns before it gets there. Then there's
that's not
another one
fun.
I think they have in Colorado, like Steamboat Springs, and it's whatever contraption you can make that you can start at the top of the mountain and get it all the way down without it disintegrating by you get there. That's what this. I mean, these boats. I mean, this looks like some motherfucker cut this shit off of his double wide trailer.
Most likely.
I was gonna
And-
say there's like a 90% chance that that's how.
That's
he did
exactly what happened. I mean, I am looking at some of this shit online right now. I mean, look at this shit. Yeah,
Yeah.
folks, if you get this show, you got to go on Boat Float Montana and it will. Hopeful buzz. I mean, these people are.
All are welcome,
This
but
is
don't show up and be an
insane.
asshole because, like I said, you'll probably be shot.
You'll be
Just gonna
shot.
Throw that
Yeah.
out there.
No, it's so fun. I kept my boobs in my shirt this time. I kept my clothes on.
Is that something that's hard for you, Jessica? I mean, do the girls like to just come out and play on their own, or I mean,
We
I just want to have fun.
When
I
you're
mean,
in
come
a
on.
swimsuit, I mean, I'm sorry, but all you have is what, 4 strings at best.
Oh no, I wear one piece now. Like
Right?
I'm a mom. But yeah, no, like I wanted the beads.
what? Oh, okay, what are the
What
beads?
kind of beads?
Kind of like Mardi Gras.
Mardi Gras. You show your
Okay,
tits,
yeah.
people throw
It's a
beads at
thing.
you. It's like getting free jewelry.
But if you don't
That you
want to
can
show
also
your
get for
boobs,
$1
you can't
at the
get
Dollar Tree.
I was gonna say, it's like, is this like a rite of passage or some shit?
Honestly, kind of.
I mean,
Yeah,
I am
it
looking
is,
at these
it is,
pictures,
it
and
is.
you're not kidding. Like, all of a sudden, 12,000 people
Yeah.
is a lot of fucking people. I mean, this is madness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This looks
And there's like a big
hysterical.
street dance. I don't know if they still do it, but last time I went,
They didn't this year because of COVID.
yeah. There's normally a street dance they do in Reed
I
Point.
don't know about y'all, but I'm fucking tired of COVID fucking up my life. But anyway,
Yeah,
this
don't even
gets,
get me started on
Let's
that.
not
this
talk
gets
about that.
stupid. You
Yeah.
know.
I don't want to talk about that.
Okay, you're the only one here that works in the service industry, so I'll just ask real quick: do you have to wear a mask at your wine bar?
Yes, I do.
I mean, I know it's not. Here's the thing: it's not. Folks, it's not business's fault.
No.
It is not business's fault. They're not doing this to reach out and be dickheads to you and stuff like that. So don't go and blame business. All I know is I've had to wear a mask the better part of my life in my job,
Mm-hmm.
and it sucks.
Yes.
You know, I mean, it really, really sucks.
I also wear glasses.
So we're on the drinking topic of today, and the only reason I bring this up: have you heard about the old lady mob in Texas? This is a great freaking story. These teenagers are like 18, 16, all underage, and they're going like Goodwill and getting these elaborate old lady dress, old lady wig. They're wearing old lady makeup and shit like that, and they're putting masks on and going and buying alcohol by the droves because they won't get carded, and now they don't know what to do. And I don't know if it's in Texas. I can't dog my beloved Texas, but I'm sorry. That is somebody who is epically using the system in their favor
Oh, yeah.
to
Yeah.
That is
get
great.
adolescently drunk because there's some 18-year-old kid who's willing to wear, and they showed a couple
But
of
like,
these kids.
also kudos to them for being that intelligent at that time in their
Yes.
life.
Yeah.
To be able to do that and like be smart enough to know how to make it happen.
Like literally, if I was
Yeah.
working for the
I'm not saying I
department,
promote underage drinking,
Drinking.
but they were smart enough to make it happen.
Yeah,
They
but they
deserve
didn't-
some sort of credit.
Yeah.
but I mean, like seriously, if I'm working for the CIA right now, I'm being like, hey Dave, you need to go down and recruit these kids.
These
'Cause this
are
is some
our
fucking brilliant.
prospects.
These are your future spies right
Right.
here. These
Yeah.
18-year-old boys are willing to dress up like grandma, and they were showing them. They got like the grandma, like like those knee-high stockings that are so
Oh
thick
my-
and shit.
so they're not just doing that-
no, they
Oh,
are going
wow.
all
Oh, yeah.
out. They're freaking doing
That's
it.
impressive.
One kid even got like the full-on like latex mask. I mean, these kids are not. And I'm sitting there, I'm back going,
Whoa.
okay, we can't promote underage drinking, but I'm sorry, there's not one person in this room that didn't partake
There-
in.
Well,
some people
yeah.
are
let's
probably
be honest.
irritated because they didn't think about it first.
Yeah, that's
Well,
exactly.
Yeah. And let's
Yeah.
be honest. I mean, I don't want to get into politics and all that, but the young generation right now is doing a lot more than I think a lot of generations have done in the past.
You know,
A lot of people might argue with that, but
No.
I mean, with the use of technology, I mean, like
Yeah.
TikTok.
I'm
the
not
amount of
even-
change that's happened just because of the power of the app TikTok. Like,
Marcus, we have heard conversations, and we'll move on to because that brings up something else talking about underage drinking. And I won't go into this, but we have heard conversations on set of people who are like 17, 18. They're having sexual conversations that I wasn't comfortable having until I was 30 years old. I mean,
Yeah.
we're talking stuff that's,
that's
like,
the dark side of it. Too.
yeah, and we sit there and we listen to it, and it's like, well, wait, excuse me? You know,
I
but
don't know what you're talking about. I had some of those conversations when I was younger. Just
Yeah.
not around my parents.
that's because Jamie is a freak. But anyway.
I did too. So
I think it's just
I was
depends
gonna
on
say,
the people
yeah.
you're
Yeah,
with,
yeah.
like,
Okay, what did I come late
I
to
was
the party?
gonna, apparently, 'cause
I'm
I
being
had
looked
some
at
adult
again. It's like-
conversations.
Yeah, like I
Okay.
think that's 90% of what my friends and I have talked about since I was like 12.
Well, and
Okay.
also, if you grow up in an area like this, what else is there to do other than get drunk, hire, fucking do stupid
Well,
shit
and
like
that's
that?
and that's
Yeah.
that's a small, that's a small community type deal anyway. So since somehow we are on the alcoholic beverage,
You know what? I actually am disappointed in myself that I have not pursued this boat float because
there you listen to this. It's like
here's-
she didn't
you want
pursue a
to know-
career.
do you want to know why?
Why?
Because I remember.
God, you're like literally despondent over here with this
Yeah,
shit.
because these are like my people.
I can edit this part out
I
if
am
you
a
guys want.
bonfire mud toting. Like I miss that shit.
All I'm gonna say, I can edit this part out if you guys prefer, but you could totally find another wife there.
Yeah.
It would take you
No
probably 2
shit.
hours of partying with people, and you'd probably have somebody going down on you in your tent, or you going down on them. Who knows?
Yeah,
I mean,
no, literally.
Oh, you're talking to-
Junior's eyes just got so big.
Yeah,
He's
like all of a
what?
sudden,
We're not looking for a one night stand. We're looking for a more long.
Well,
Yeah.
you could potentially find that. I mean, there's a lot
That's
of weird
crazy.
people
I mean,
in Montana.
there's-
You just got to go to somewhere like the boat
That's
float to find
insane.
them.
No, it's
You know-
like you could find anything that you want from drugs to sex. What's your flavor?
Right. It's definitely
Wow.
not a family friendly. Like people from out of state that come and bring their kids.
Yeah, well, it's like Lake
I don't-
Havasu. You
Like
don't,
kids are welcome, but I'm not judging people's parenting, but like some of the stuff I've
I do.
seen at the boat float, I would not want my children to be
Yeah,
exposed
I
to that.
judge.
You know, they're
Like
they're
I'm
kind of
saying, like I said,
because I saw it at Lake Havasu. Similar. The problem that I had with Lake Havasu is people would just pull their boats next to each other,
Yeah.
and then they just sit there,
yeah.
and it's 110 effing degrees out there. To me, it was just miserable.
That's
You
what
know,
happens.
and this one here looks.
See, the nice thing about this is you're just in that little boat, so like if you need to hop out the side and just like sit in the water to cool off for a minute or
Take
two,
a
do
piss.
it.
So Marcus,
Yeah,
did
just
you
Float in the water and poop
did you
while
just
you're going
seriously
down.
on a show out Jamie and I as being poly?
I mean, like I said, I can edit it out. I can edit it out if you want, but
he's like, you guys can benefit from
Like
this
you
so
should-
much. Like you two are trying to like, this can be so fucking rad for you.
It was like that
Like
friend.
hooking us up for a long-term marriage. Like, we're doing friends.
But you know what? I need to bring something to the table here. We are not poly. We are thruple. We are the thruple that likes a committed relationship. Now, if that means that we have to go to said boat festival to find woman that does said
Floats.
things and like that floats, that
Not
that
a festival.
oh for fuck's sakes, really? But if we have to go to said boat float to find us another wife, because we were we'll talk about it sometime on the show, but we were almost married at
Do
one
we
time.
need to
Yeah.
print some- We joke
Honestly,
about
we
this.
could have an
Do we
entire
need to
show.
print some applications? Here. Are you all down
Some
here?
lovely little booth with like signs and like have fresh water and coffee for people.
People serenade like.
Like poly speed dating. What are you looking for?
Get like super fancy chairs so you take them out there so you stick out because everybody else is just
Yeah.
like metal lawn chairs and
Like
shit.
you're going to an interview for a job. So tell us about your goals. Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
What does an outstanding employee look like to you?
You know, the one thing that I'll say about
What would your peers say about you?
the thing that cracks me up, and we'll move on to something else because
Your
we should do a show about it because it is hysterical. But the one thing about being in a poly relationship, like when we had our and we were engaged. We had a very committed relationship. But the funnier part is that people that don't agree with that lifestyle, I was immediately the dick. Like they looked at me like I was this. Oh, that. And what was funnier is
All you want to do is just screw another
and I
wife.
kind of looked at him and I'm going,
Absolutely not.
dude, have you met my wife? You remotely, in what universe, think that I wear the pants in this freaking relationship?
that sounds
Dude,
so
I
terrible.
am a bitch. Okay. I mean, and now all of a sudden I got two of them I got to take care of. Yeah, I'm like a pool boy. Okay. I'm like cabana boy. So let's, So now
You're the
Marcus is
sexual
trying to.
conquest.
Yeah. I am like literally just a used toy,
Whatever.
Okay, so getting back to the fun stuff, we're talking about like with people. All right, who's got the worst drunken dating story ever?
I don't
Oh
have-
my God!
I don't have a
Everybody,
drunken-
you should have seen the look on everybody's
I don't know
eyes.
about
They're
you
like,
guys, but I
Dating
spent a
story,
year
but
at
I do
Montana
have
State
them.
University, so I
Right.
think I have you trumped. I'm just saying.
You probably do.
Is that okay, man? I
I've had a
mean,
lot of stories from that school. It's a great
Really?
school. I'm not going to slander that school. It's just people like to party there. And I was in one of the dorms that was known more for partying. I didn't do
partying.
that because I wanted to be there. I just thought
It
it was
just
the best
happened to
dorm
happen.
for me, and then realized, oh, this is like the party place. Okay.
I do have a story, but really wasn't dating, but
I was gonna
Oh.
say, so this is drunken dating. So like, is there a stipulation on how early on in this like situation you
Nope.
met the person? I
no.
was
If
like,
you did something dumb and drunk, and no, I am not talking about mom and daughters. If you did something when you were
ooh.
don't because you looked
You
at
were-
me.
the
No,
horrified look
you
on
look-
all of our faces right now.
No, but
Yeah.
but there has got well, fuck you too, Jessica. Anyway, but I mean, at one point or another, we've all done something stupid being drunk dating.
I've
mean-
never, oh, you like dating someone or like on a date and
I
getting
don't, whatever.
drunk?
Like you went on a first date and got way over hammered and made an ass of yourself. I mean, there's got to be that
I
one
wasn't
story.
drunk, but I did go on a dating site when I was fairly younger, and I knew it was going to go horribly bad when I got into the guy's car and he had powder puff girl floor mats. I'm like,
No.
oh god,
Are you
this is not the dude for me.
like
I want
in
a manly
Montana?
man. I did
In Montana.
No, he was really, really nice guy. He just was more into books and the library, and I was not. I
And
was more
powder
into
puff
mud
girls.
and
That's
redneck stuff, and
I don't know, kind of
That's
swinging toward
This is-
pedophilia. I don't know what. I mean, it's like powder puff girl. Okay, I mean,
sister's car.
I mean, we're also talking about 30-year-old men that could possibly be bronies as well. So,
Yeah.
like, I'm not surprised
Oh,
that he's got powder
dude.
girl shit.
I don't know,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
and he was a really nice guy. And he's like, well, I just told him, I was like, hey, he's like, well, are you really into me? I said, you're not really my type, but we could still have a good night. And he was a really good guy. He's like, oh well, I'll still
but
take you to a
that
movie.
has nothing to do with being drunk.
No, I told you.
No,
that.
this is drunken dating.
Okay.
We'll get into regular shitty dating later, because obviously all of us in here have done
Yeah.
that. What's a good drunken dating story?
I have one from Boat Float.
Oh, back to the boat float.
I don't really have many dating stories.
Yeah.
Well, that's why we all live vicariously through you now, because
Okay, so picture this.
riddle me if you will.
Okay. We're at the campsite. I didn't go through the whole thing because whatever, but I'm here with this guy, and we're in Reed Point, so you can see the Milky Way and like all the fucking stars.
Beautiful.
And the moon is like huge that night, like huge. And like shining on the river, and then the birds, the swallows are getting all the bugs off the river, and the moon is like lighting.
Wow,
the
she's really
feathers.
painting a picture here.
Yeah.
And then
Wow.
there's fireflies over here in the bushes, and then all of a sudden some shooting stars coming down. And I'm having a great conversation, and this guy grabs my hand. And then he kisses me. And it was like, it's like fucking kissing a fucking velociraptor. Like,
No!
What do you mean?
Like,
I mean, like, okay, so like
Bad
his
teeth,
lips.
bad
No,
breath?
no.
Oh, he was one of those.
It was like
Oh.
his lips were so like tight.
Oh.
And then it was like a lot of tooth. And I'm like,
a tooth.
and then I'm like,
a tooth?
tooth. It's just teeth. Just teeth.
plural.
Plural. So it's just like this tight-lipped, like. And then I'm like, whoa, stop it, dude. And he's like, what? And I'm like, you need to loosen your mouth up a bit. And I'm like,
She has to coach him. Oh,
and I'm
God.
like, loosen it up. I'm like, I do this for my doula clients because loosen the lips, loose between the hips.
She said she does doula classes. I mean,
she's not.
So I'm like,
You motorbone son of a
no,
bitch!
I'm like, try and loosen your lips, like going, like loosen your lips. And he's like,
Now, at this point, are you talking to the guy or his like
No, I'm
man
talking to
vagina?
the. And
Yes, that's what it says.
Oh, jeez.
Oh my
doing
God.
it. He's doing it. He's like.
Oh my God.
So we try it again. And I'm like, this still sucks. Let's go back to the fire. So, that's part 1 of the story.
Oh God. It gets worse.
I was like, you can't leave us at part 1. That's it. That's the worst teaser I have ever experienced in my life.
Oh,
Gotta hear
God.
the rest of this.
Okay, so we go back to the fire and we're standing there.
I'm
and we
burning
talk.
up, man. I'm just dying over here. Jesus. Because the thing of it is, what you guys can't see is she's doing these hand gestures and she's painting
Oh,
the
it's
picture.
beautiful.
And she's showing us. And you got
It's
to
her,
bring up
it's
the
her stand-up
man-gina
comedian
thing.
coming out. It's her comedy
Were you
side coming
talking
out.
to his mouth or his man-gina? It's like, oh my God. Oh, so yes, Jessica, motherfucking May, please continue.
So we go back to the fire and like we're talking to people and I'm like, I need to go to bed. And he's like, okay. He's like, you wanna? And I'm like, sure. And so we go back to my tent.
Was that really like the extent of the conversation?
Yeah,
You
that
wanna-
was the
it was
extent.
like-
That was the extent of the conversation. You wanna?
You wanna?
Sure.
Sure.
Let's go.
Oh wow.
That was the
Oh.
extent.
Does this guy have no shame? Like,
No, I mean apparently not.
if
'cause it
I'm
gets
trying to hook up with
worse.
somebody and they
Oh,
go,
God.
yeah, sure, I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and go sleep over here.
Right?
Because obviously, yeah.
So,
Oh God.
so it starts happening. And like it was like we
Wait,
tried different positions. Like I was like, that sucks. I'm like, so I tried being on top, and then it was just like really weird. And I'm like, ugh. So like we tried another position. I'm like, this just sucks. Let's just go to
So,
bed.
were you inside of him or was he inside of you? Is the
Yeah.
question.
He was inside
Yes.
of me.
That's not the way it sounds. I almost felt like you had the strap on and
Way to
making old
take
boy
charge, girl. That's all I have
I
to say.
mean, no shit. Like,
No, I mean like he was very in charge, but it just sucked. And I let
Even
him
when he
know.
was
I
trying.
mean, I think women are too nice to men, and they get along for 45 years, sucking at having sex, and somebody should just tell them.
you know what's funny is this guy is probably telling this
fucking
story right now
love
going,
you.
oh
Wait,
yeah, and
well,
then we did
I
this
wish
position,
you
and then we
were
did that
single
position.
a long
Meanwhile, the
fucking
whole
time
time
ago.
she's like,
Like,
you
I-
just suck.
She's
You
like,
could have been my voice
ew.
of reason for a lot of shit.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
But I mean, like, you can. How do you fix it if you don't know that you suck at it?
I mean, that's true.
I mean, like,
That's a good point.
size-wise, everything was decent. There shouldn't have been any reason why it sucked so bad, other
Boy,
than
she
he
is
wasn't
literally
moving
getting
right.
fired up over this shit.
I mean, there was no reason for it.
So
He
it just
could have
wasn't
been
even like
okay.
not good. It was just flat out
It
bad.
just
Bad.
flat out bad, and I
Ugh.
like tried to tell him what to do, and like I tried to get on top, and then he tried like grabbing, and like just it was just so fucking weird. It's like, dude, stop being a fucking dinosaur.
You're making me sexually frustrated, and we're having sex right now.
I wish I was having sex while having sex.
This is not sex.
Like I don't think I've been
It's a fucking
hornier.
aerobics class.
I don't think I've been hornier since I've been single, since that experience, because I'm like, fuck, I got robbed.
All I can picture right now is you with like giant postcards with like the definition of the word clitoris
Yeah.
on it, and like
Like teaching class.
This is
should that be a bit on the show? Jessica
my
May's
God.
sexual education. That
You know,
would be
you-
so great.
I'll tell you what, we could because it was a very interesting thing, and we'll talk about it on the show. But my mom passed away last year. Everybody in the room knows this. And my father and I did not have a very good relationship growing up. But my mom passing has allowed my father and I to open up. Come to find out, Jamie and I went down there to see him not too long ago, that my father and I had the same exact experience when we were 19 years old and didn't know about it. And that was where, and I think it's like, I think that every young person, whatever, should have to learn from an older person on how to be a lover. Because come to find out, for a couple weeks, my dad dated a 45-year-old woman while he was 19. And he went to go over to her house, and she was just gone, moved out the whole 9 yards. she was his boy toy but he goes, that was the best education I ever got. Come to find out, I had the same exact experience. She was pushing 50 and I was 19. And it's interesting because men, we kind of have a problem that they think because we just got born with a set, we immediately think we know how to work on a car. We know how to fight. We know how to do all this stuff. We're not willing to learn this shit. And I remember like my dad and I had a joking session and Jamie walked right in on it. And I said, I remember the first date I went on with this guy. I came from work and she goes, you need a shower and those nails, that is not touching this. Now, when you're 19 years old and you think you're the shit, it's like,
open mouth, insert foot.
Yeah, And so hearing stories like this, I sit back and I go, I thank God that older woman taught me how to be a man.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, this guy was 45.
Oh,
he should have already had that lesson.
Yeah, he should have.
I mean, like,
He's at the age where he should be teaching. Yeah.
But honestly, I have to say though, like kudos to you, Jessica, with your story, because I feel like a lot of women would have been absolute fucking bitches about that situation, and it
Or
sounds
they
like you
just-
handled it pretty
Yeah,
well.
like,
Or would have tolerated going,
Or they just would have
Yeah.
done it.
Or
Jessica,
you were at least honest and you didn't just fake.
did you hear what we were
thing.
saying, Jessica?
Yeah.
All he and I can envision is this dude is telling this story right now to his buddies about, yeah, and then she wanted this position, then she wanted that position.
Right.
And you were probably the greatest lay of his entire life. And you're sitting there going, God, this is like junior high bullshit.
What a waste of time.
I mean, it's just like, I've never heard a woman say, I never, while having sex, wished that I was having sex more than it. I mean, that is a woman could look at you and be like, you got a small Johnson, and ego's gonna go straight to whatever your partner says. But that right there, I wish I was having sex while I was having sex. Oh God, I hope he listens to this show and recognizes your voice. I mean, Jesus.
Yeah.
But okay, so was that drunken?
Yeah, that was drunken. And I know him. I mean, like, he's my friend's neighbor.
Oh, so you still see this person?
Yeah, I still, like, I mean, like,
I wonder if it's partly because it was a lot of alcohol that
I don't
it
know.
was
My
such a
friends,
mess.
my
I've never
friend
had a bad
slept with
sexual
him
experience
also.
while drinking.
Okay, my friend has slept with him also.
Oh,
And
wow.
she had the same problem.
whoa, poor guy.
And this is where Marcus and I
I
look
guess
at
at
each
least
other,
he's
you know what?
consistent.
How do you-
Saying.
Oh my God.
It's like, okay, analogy here. And you've all heard this story before, but it's like that is kind of the epitome of Junior trying to teach me how to use my she-go. I don't have a dick, so teach me. Like, and she doesn't have a dick, like, and she's teaching. Like, oh God, that's like mind fuckery, dude.
That was one of the most uncomfortable experiences I've ever had. We're driving for her, and she wants to use the she-go. She has to go to the bathroom. We are going through traffic, and we're driving through like LA style traffic in Denver. We cannot pull over. She's like, I'm either gonna pee the seat, or I got to learn to use this thing. And she brought it, like a friend of ours gave it to her.
Yeah.
And so she's using it. I'm literally telling her, like, okay, well, like you take the tip and you kind of like shake the dew off the lily.
Right,
and,
like it's so natural for us. You almost have
Yeah,
to stop and think.
I
like,
had to
how do you
really think
describe
about it.
somebody how to piss out of their dick.
yeah,
Like,
and that's exactly what I was
whether
doing.
or not it's a real dick.
So, come to find out, this thing worked really well, but
And I
like,
was a champ at it.
yeah.
I should have had a dick.
So Jamie's working on one of her first stand-up routines, and it's called "If I Had a Penis."
Oh, Jamie, I cannot wait
You
to
guys
hear
wanna hear
this.
some
And
of it?
Not on the show.
Oh,
Not on the show.
damn it.
we got to save that for.
Not because I don't think it would be good, but
We don't
you
wanna
got to
s-
perfect that shit before.
Yeah, you got to get that shit squared away.
You need to debut it, and then we'll talk about it afterwards.
Yeah,
what
we'll
needs to happen.
review it when you're done because it's so wrong. It's
I'm
just
honestly
like,
super excited.
yeah,
The thought of
it's
Jamie
just
doing
like,
stand-up
oh
comedy.
my God.
Jamie, I don't think you realize how good at stand-up comedy I think you could actually be too. Like I
You know
haven't
what?
seen
It
anything,
scares
so
me,
I don't
though.
know.
Like it scares me only
I can
because
relate.
of the fact that I'm naturally funny, but I try
And I too am superiorly humble.
But I use other people's little memes to create my own.
You don't feel
personal-
like you're being authentic with your own
Yeah,
comedy.
I don't.
I can relate to that.
And I mean, I'm funny, but I say and do and say certain things at a certain time that make people fucking just laugh. And I don't feel that's right to take other people's stuff.
And the thing
Yeah.
of it is, I don't know if we're ever going to be able to show it, but your Marcus, you got a comedic prowess. Like literally with this group in here, like I'm the guy that feels like, God damn, everybody else is funny in here, and then there's me that didn't go to the boat float.
See,
You know what I mean?
I've never been, but I've
never
heard
been to
about
the
it
boat
here.
float, but I mean, it's just like, but then there's the issue. We can talk about it on another show, but it's like timing. I'll tell you, whether you like him or hate him, listening to Joe Rogan talk about those comedians and how hard they work, and how they have to be authentic, and how they go to the Comedy Store, and they practice their 5 minutes and their 10 minutes. And these are guys that have been doing it for years, and they'll talk about, man, and I bombed this. I mean, it's such a craft for them.
right.
Like,
It is. It's just as much of an art form as somebody that takes their acting seriously,
or music,
people that are
whatever.
artists.
Explain it in your own way without somebody else having already said that already.
Yeah.
And then
Just
once
'cause
you-
you're the
once it's
stand-up comic
similar,
here, what do you think
then
about
you're
this?
screwed.
What's your input?
It's hard. I mean, I like timing is like timing, there's so much that goes into it. There's the writing, there's the like waiting, like when you get a laughter, or like when you're realizing that you're not getting a laughter, like when you're like doing your punchline. I mean, like, okay, this is a different crowd, so I have to change my freaking punchline on the fly. So like it's like a constant, like you're spitting out stuff that you're memorizing, but you also have to keep that sense of like improv there, to where if something's not working, you have to adjust it then. And you have no time to do it.
So do you think it's almost harder to perform like rehearsed written like stand-up acts than it would be to just do like a genuine like impromptu scene like what you do with your impromptu group? Do you think it's like different, or like
It's different.
Is it?
I think improv's harder because you're working with other people and you
Right.
don't know what they're gonna do.
whereas like with the stand-up you have some
the
sort of
only person who
guideline
can
at
fail
least.
is me.
We got to get some guests on
Okay.
and talk about that, because
I would love to
it
get
is
her together with some of her
some other comedians and stuff
Yeah.
like that, because
I
it
think
really
my
is
problem
a.
is that I tend to laugh at my own weird shit, and people are weird.
that nobody else understands.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm like, I guess you gotta be there.
So you
You're like, sorry you're not cool enough to
Okay.
think this is
I'm like,
funny.
yeah.
So
Like,
since
I think
since
it's
we're
fucking
talking
hilarious.
since we're talking about drunken dating, you have a very infectious laugh.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
does.
everybody that knows her, like,
It never used to be,
well, but what I'm saying is the
but
way
I
it is now.
appreciate it.
So
I
I've
do
got to
appreciate
ask: have you ever laughed during sex? Oh my God! If she did that, somebody went home and committed
Oh my
ritual
God.
suicide. They pull out their penis. And he goes,
Oh.
"Would you? You do that shit when somebody pulls their junk out? Yeah, baby, you're gonna love this."
You know, of course, I wasn't who I am now back then. I wasn't at all. I mean, my personality was there, but I just wanted to please people so bad that I shut my mouth a lot on a lot of things. But no, I have never, not like that.
That is a joke I want to take and run with, but I won't.
I'm better with a dick in my mouth. No, I don't.
Oh!
Okay, save that for your guys' personal conversations.
Thank God, I'm a horrible person. I'll say that out in public. If somebody is annoying
See-
me, I'm like, God, they're better with a dick in their mouth.
Yeah.
It's like, where is my wife? We're not bro moments. I'm sorry. My bad.
Oh man.
Oh wow! I
don't think so.
Have
Oh,
you?
I
Not like
definitely
laughing at
Have you?
someone.
Oh, yeah.
You've had a laugh like,
Oh,
dude, we're
but-
done.
Yeah.
Kinda. I mean,
More of a funny situation during sex, not laughing at them.
no, it wasn't. It wasn't a funny situation. It was just a new situation for me at the time.
Oh no.
Okay, so long story short, I was in high school at this point. So like, this probably is gonna make me sound bad, but I was dating this girl for like a year, and my entire senior year we were together. And she isn't the person that I lost my virginity to, but I lost my virginity to one of the people that she thought was one of her best friends. It was a revenge story. It
Yeah.
was, yeah.
I was
It
gonna
was
say,
all
there's a
bullshit.
story
I was
right there.
used. I'm not going to get into it, but there was this one night where I was hanging out with my girlfriend, and we were doing our thing, and like kind of got hot and heavy, and like I had lost my virginity at this point, but it wasn't like I knew what I was doing yet, if that makes sense. Like it was that weird in between point where
Yeah.
like you've experienced it, but you're not quite like you haven't
to figure
figured
it
it
out.
out
Yeah.
completely.
Yeah.
You're still a
I'd only
beginner.
been with the one
Yeah.
person. Well,
Yeah.
at that point, it was technically two, but I don't count the first person.
Right.
We all have a few of those
You
that are
never
just
count
like,
the
oh,
first
there's
one.
this.
Unless it's really
Let's just
fucking
forget
good.
about this shit
Yeah.
over here. You know.
No, I should have been laughing about the first one, but no. Long story short, from there we were doing our thing, and I put it back in, and she queefed, and I started laughing, and she freaked out.
As adults, you don't care about those noises
Anymore,
funny.
yeah. I would
But
never
as a
even-
teenager,
I didn't know what to
Oh,
expect. Like I
yeah.
understood science; it made sense what was happening, but in the moment, I wasn't
Yeah, they don't
expecting to
tell
hear
you
her
that.
like fart while we
Yeah.
were, like I just wasn't expecting it, and it. I didn't laugh out of actual like, haha, that's funny. Like you should just embarrass yourself.
Yeah.
It was more of like a, I don't know how to handle this situation. I'm
Yes.
17 years old and
Yeah.
like still trying to figure shit out, trying to like be all macho and like do my thing.
Mhm.
And then here I am, I start laughing because I didn't know what else to do. I felt awkward. I didn't know. Like, do you just keep going? Do you pretend like it didn't happen? Do you acknowledge it? I don't know.
Yeah.
I learned my lesson the hard way that you do not acknowledge those kinds of things.
the takeaway after action report was you do not acknowledge the fact that this just happened.
Ever.
Ever. You don't revisit it. You don't talk about it. You don't.
You just
Side
keep
note,
going.
The thing
That is so-
This is kind of a. I don't know if it's really gross, but it just happens. Women, if they sit a certain way and they have to pass gas, I don't know why it happens. There's not enough space.
Are you
But-
really good
We
at
just
that?
look at each
bubble-
other.
But that bubble will all of a sudden just travel and it tickles and then it'll pop and you're like,
What in the name of Zeus's butthole?
I don't have
Made
any
you
idea
just-
what you're talking about.
Wait, have you never queefed?
Oh yeah, I've queefed.
Isn't that what you're talking about?
no.
Oh.
How in the what
Okay,
in the
like-
name of Zeus's asshole made you
was
decide to talk about blowing a fart up through your vagina?
Oh, it goes
It's
up
just-
into your vagina.
No, it just passes.
Jesus.
Oh, okay. Like I guess like
What I was envisioning was like it going up back through your body and out the other side. That's not what I was picturing.
no.
How do we?
How does that even work?
No,
How do
okay,
we-
There's like a spot like where the penis like if you're in a certain angle, yes, where like all of a sudden it's like hitting your
Okay.
your intestines.
I see what you mean.
And like it's
So like the dick pushed the fart out is what you're
yes,
saying.
the dick
Okay.
pushes the fart out.
How do we ever top this show?
We need to officially like mark this show as explicit. That's for sure.
we're gonna have. I
It's
mean,
the
let
fact that you're
Spotify
trying
know
to- It's
ASAP.
the fact that you're trying to relax and then just your bodily functions just freaking happen.
Well,
Like,
no,
now that
it's
I'm-
like it
I've had a guy fart and he's like, hee hee hee. And I'm like,
See, for me,
I almost started laughing. I'm like, I'm just gonna.
now that I'm
ignore
older and like a little more experienced, I almost take those kinds of things almost as like a compliment in a weird way because it shows that that person is relaxed and that they're
Yes.
like
And
truly
comfortable.
enjoying themselves and it,
Yeah.
oh man, wow. I just.
and I didn't even get to my fucking drunk story.
We haven't
dating
even gotten to
story.
ours yet, and I'm listening to this. I'm like,
This is gonna be a long.
this is so horrible. Well, we've got 10 more minutes in the show because we had to take 10 minutes off. But all right, Marcus, what? Oh God, what is
Well, okay, so I have
bubbling
about
up to
every.
the vagina? That just is so. Yeah. Anyway,
It happens.
I know
We're gonna
that.
have
It
some
was-
like gynecologists like commenting and emailing us, being like, what are you fucking talking
what are you
about?
fucking talking about?
What is this?
It's
This
just
isn't
funny.
accurate.
Well, and here's another thing too that's funny about sex is like when you're young, the wet spot is like you want to try to pretend that it doesn't exist, and when you're an adult,
You're like, fuck, no, I gotta change the sheets.
yeah, you know what, you
change
go,
the duvet cover.
oh, you know what, it's like, oh, we'd rather just go back to bed and you just go get a towel and you lay it. I mean, I think there comes a time
That's
when
the
you're
way to do it.
when you're mature in the aspect of like, hey, we understand this shit's gonna happen, and the freakier you get, the worse it's gonna get.
I always
Well, see, in
felt
our
bad because
situation,
I
it was
didn't-
cover the wet spot before our parents found it.
Yeah, well,
That was the thing.
that's no,
I always felt bad because I'm like, am I athletic enough? How long can I do this for? Like that's how what I
It
like.
was a competition?
No, it just was like if I don't do this, they might not love me.
Are you serious?
Jamie, I
Yeah.
think we're a lot more alike than we realize.
Because you guys are having like this moment.
we're bonding.
All right.
But nobody taught me that at all. I just am a pleasing person, and that's just how I thought. I've always been loved as a kid. My parents, we played board games and stuff like that. So it wasn't that I was missing love. It's just I think it was just how the persona of
I need to
how
fulfill other
people-
people's needs.
yeah, and that's what it turned into.
Interesting.
Okay. Long, weird, uncomfortable silence.
Well,
so you're drunken. What the?
so okay,
you know,
like I said, I went to Montana State University.
Yeah.
Again, fantastic school. Their education programs there are legitimately phenomenal. Do not get me wrong. But people like to party there. I have a lot of stories from that school, honestly. Some really horrible ones, but some are really funny. The one I'm going to leave it with, though, just because it's kind of quick and simple. So I was in the marching band. I was one of those kids.
I dated a couple marching band
I mean, I guess
girls.
people shouldn't be
I don't
surprised
ever
now,
talk.
but
I don't ever talk any shit about marching
I
band
like
people.
the marching
oh
band.
my
because
god, if
I did-
people-
Cool.
I will fucking fight fist somebody that
I-
tells me
I learned.
fist fight. I said that backwards.
Yeah, did you say fist fuck?
I said fight fist.
Fight fist.
I will fist
I
fight
thought I heard
somebody
fist fuck, and I'm
that
like,
says that marching
hey,
band
kinky,
is
cool. Let's hear
not
about
good.
that too. We were on that subject. We might as well get it. No, but the one thing that I'll tell you, I learned what discipline in college was by watching and living with a marching band guy.
Oh yeah,
And I'm telling you, you dog those people, fuck you.
yeah.
That is
It's just
the
a lack of understanding of
The,
how
that,
technical
I think
and
that's
how
the,
much
I
goes
think
into
that's and,
marching.
and we'll talk about it sometime. But I think it's the worst scholarship to have. I've never seen people have to work harder than those people.
Right?
They got to have a full class schedule and like first they do marching
Oh,
practice.
tell me
They
about
got to
it.
music.
I
mean,
started college a month earlier
God,
than
it
everybody else
sucks.
because of marching band.
So sorry.
But basically, long story short, there was this girl who was not in the band because she had had an injury. She couldn't march, so she just kind of helped from the sidelines. She helped with the organization of things and all that. We started talking because I got tendonitis in my foot, and from marching. Because we were
I
were
wouldn't
marching,
even thought
and
of that.
it's called roll step. It's a specific way you have to walk so that
okay.
your instrument stays balanced, so that when you play, it doesn't mess with the sound of your
I
instrument.
always wondered how that worked.
See, again, those random things
okay.
people don't know about that actually exist in that world. But so we had been doing it so much and practicing so much. I was like just fresh out of boot camp my freshman year in college there, learning how to properly march because I didn't get to do it in high school. Long story short, I still went to practices and stood on the sidelines and helped the band directors and the drum majors figure out things that could be perfected. And I was sitting there one day while they were practicing, just hating life because I wanted to be out there with them. And this girl comes over to me who, like, I had noticed, like, was checking me out for a little bit and, like, it was kind of like one of those situations where I couldn't tell if she actually was into me or if I was just so full of myself that I assumed she was into me. I had a lot of those kinds
We've
of
all had
moments because
that,
I
yeah.
assumed that it was because, and so we start talking, and next thing I know, like a week later, we're sleeping with each other and the whole 9 yards, right? So we kind of like became, I guess what you could say, fuck buddies.
We've all had 'em.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then we tried, and we were like, okay, so like we're doing this, like why don't we try like actually going out into public together and like not just sleeping with each other all the time? So we go to this party, and it was at a frat house, which frat parties in Bozeman are always memorable stories.
Nothing
But
good
long
comes from
story
this.
short, we got there, we started drinking absinthe, like
Oh.
legitimate
Like,
absinthe.
Man.
hold on. I've been to
Like,
Europe.
stuff
Like
that was
legit.
imported from
That's-
Italy. It was like
You're legit chasing the green
it's-
dragon.
It's got wormwood in it, the whole 9 yards.
Oh,
Yes.
God.
So we both did one little shot because I was like, I don't want to ruin my night by getting messed up on something I'm not familiar with and not having a good time. So
Did
I
you do it
one
like
small
over the
with the sugar
the
cube,
sugar, the
whole
hot
9
water?
yards? Yes.
Dude.
So that was how the night started off, and we were like, all right, cool. We were like hanging out with each other. Next thing I know, she is on one side of this room making out with another guy, and I'm on the other side of the room making out with another girl. And then we both wake up the next morning and we're all in bed together. So it was like just this weird, like, okay, so we're going to go to this party together, and we didn't technically not go together, but we ended up bringing 2 more people into the situation. And Yeah, it was. I had a lot of like, what the fuck did I do last night moments
Yeah.
when I went there. I'm sure you guys could tell by now.
Wow.
But that was my drunken dating story because we were like trying to like
Yeah, and it just
make it a thing and
Snap
like
it.
be together and like 'cause we were starting to like catch the feels as they put it.
Yeah.
How do you not when you're sleeping with somebody 2 to 3 times a week? Like,
Yeah, I mean, oh man.
especially when you're in
It-
college and
it's
you're like, I
hard
want to
not
fuck
to.
everything.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You know what's funny
Wow.
is when I went to college for the second time, it was probably my worst drunken one, and I was driving to the Olympic Training Center, training 5 days a week, trying to go to school and working. I had a ridiculous schedule. And this is, I can't even believe I'm going to admit this. Everyone has to understand I'm also sitting in the room with my wife when I tell these stories, so damn. Anyway, but so something, I had a friend that said, hey, why don't you come out and have a drink with us tonight? I have a tendency when I was that age to do everything in excess. Very extremist personality. And so I was done training for the day and I drove all the way up from Colorado Springs back to the Denver metro area. And we all went out and I hadn't really ate a lot. And we went, yeah.
Not eating with alcohol is.
Yep, and that
Yeah,
right
that
there,
starts the
you
story
know,
for sure.
This
Yeah.
is like before I was a veteran, which is basically AKA professional alcoholic, before I knew how to do this shit, right? So we started drinking and we all went out. And this buddy of mine in college, him and his wife and their friends, we all just it was like a meeting group. Fuck. There were these 2 Asian sisters and one of them was dating one of the guys in the group and stuff like that. And so I'm just out having a good time. What I did know, and I've always been very conscious of, I knew I was at a point where I have drank way too much to drive home. I get it. Need to call it good, And so we went back to their house, and it's the guy that was there and his girlfriend. It's their apartment. And his girlfriend, it's her sister that I'm just kind of hanging out with. And do you know when you're drunk enough that you're doing the...
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm doing the... And I'm just about there, and I'm like, if y'all just let me just crash on the couch, I'll get up and roll out, and because I live like 3 towns over, which is like an hour and a half drive or whatever. I was like, I said, but I was gonna sleep in my car, and so, oh God, I can't, Jesus, and so I'm laying on the couch, and the next thing I know, I look down, and the sister who was living with him, who had her own room, is performing on me.
Okay.
And I'm like, well, okay. At that point when you're, like you said,
Is your dick even working?
barely. Like,
'Cause-
that was one of the first,
'cause
like,
you're so
I
drunk,
am so drunk that I'm, even in the back of my mind, I'm like, at that point in my life, it would have been like, literally, hey, honey, I really, really from my heart appreciate what you're doing, but nothing. I'm laying it out there I'm going to be honest.
Not going to participate.
Yeah. And so the next thing you know, this gal is all over me. Now, I am a young, red-blooded American male and think, well, maybe this isn't too bad. And she's all hot and heavy. She's like, do you have a condom? I'm like, fuck. No. And to me, in that point in my life, that's a deal breaker. Like, we can fool around, but no. I was terrified of, that shit.
Multiplying.
And at that point, I'm kind of like fading in and out of like, I really need to like sleep this off. And so I kind of lay down and she leaves and I'm like, well, shit. That kind of sucks, Then she comes out and she's in this nightgown and she goes, okay, just don't finish inside me. And I'm like, honey, I'm not going to finish at all. Like, I'm just trying to be honest. I am drunk as shit. And so things start getting hot and heavy. And the next thing I know, the sister's in the couch with us.
Oh God.
Now, normally this would be kind of hot and heavy, and in the back of my mind, I'm like, well, this is kind of hot, but the dude's in the other fucking room, man. And these are two biological sisters who are kind of not holding back from each other either.
Oh
Wow.
God.
And I'm like, this is happening.
This is creepy.
And so the sister who's taken, whose brother or boyfriend's in the room, wiggles her way underneath me, and next thing you know, I'm just doing work. This all sounds fine and dandy, but that is where my body chose to pass out. Full on, unconscious, passed the fuck out on top of a 105, 110 pound Asian woman.
Oops.
I'm a big guy. Even then I was big. And I mean, I'm talking like I am out. So now these poor two Asian girls are trying to figure out how to get because if you pass out drunk with a Woodrow don't go away.
Right.
So I am inside this woman, passed out on top of her, like literally crushing her. Like I'm doing the whole thing. I literally woke up and I'd figured out like an hour later, and they were still trying to get her out from underneath me. And I finally woke up enough. I figured out, I literally came to about what was going on. Now, by this point, I'm not inside her anymore, thank God. And they're trying to be quiet. And I'm like, okay, sorry. I told you guys I drank a lot. And literally, I'm like, okay, you just go to bed. This is going to be okay. And the sister was like, no, let's finish.
Oh my God.
I quietly got up. You know, when you're now you're beyond the intoxicated, you're sick. You know you're going to get sick. I literally put my clothes on, stumbled out to my car, and drove home so intoxicated. I was like, I've got to get away from this situation. I've got to get away from it.
That's
And
insane.
to this day, like, I know that I physically drank enough to pass out on top of somebody. So, you guys took your stories into fucked upville.
I gotta pee. I can't hold it anymore.
Oh, I see how you
Well,
are.
Jamie having to pee is the sign.
Is that
I
the
think
sign?
It's time.
What is this? This is our this is our
Episode
fifth.
4.
No, this is our fifth
5.
show.
5.
This is 5.
Is it 5?
Yeah.
No?
Are you
This
sure?
this is our 5th episode,
I
man.
think so.
'Cause
Yeah.
I've only got 4 on my computer.
Well, this should be number 5.
1, 2, 3. Yeah, I'm currently doing 4.
Oh.
That's weird.
Did we do 2 the first time?
That they might be in the same project. That might
That's
be
what I'm
it
thinking
is.
of. So anyway,
Weird.
I'm JMR. For Gemma, I have to pee a lot. Lee, Marcus, Mr. Sexy, and Jessica motherfucking May. We will see you in a little bit. Show number 6. See you next time, guys.